How do guys? Really interesting video here today that I want to talk to you about, and this is going to be another one of those videos that's not got loads of overlays, fancy graphics and bits that sort of, so just strap yourselves in, 8-10 minutes or so, lots to talk about, podcast style. Now, first of all, before we get too into this, I want you to think about this and don't write this number down. Don't screenshot it. Don't do anything with it. Just remember 342 00891. I want you to try and I want you to try and remember as much of that number as you possibly can. Okay, it's off. Now, what I want to talk to you today about is darts coaching, how to improve your performance, but then also some do's and don'ts. Now, you may find yourself, or I have certainly seen online, this very question regarding certain coaches saying, how can they develop players if they can't do something themselves? Now, what I want to do is I want to dispel this myth straight away, that the application of a skill is not the understanding of a skill, and it does not impact someone's ability to teach a skill just because they can't apply said performance. Now, with that in mind as well, that means that there is no such thing as self-coaching. Now, I myself coach, as you know. I am a coach. I've coached multiple sports. I've coached at professional level, and now I apply those skills in relation to darts. Does that mean I can coach myself? No. Now, I knew this wasn't a possibility, but as I've started to try and do this, I can talk about this more. Just because I know what happens and what I should happen doesn't mean that that is what comes through. Feel versus real, something you may hear quite regular. You may feel you're doing something, but are you doing something? So how can I have the outer body experience in order to see what I am doing, to make the changes I need to make myself a better player? Well, your answer is going to be technology, isn't it? We can use video. Absolutely. We can use video with which we can monitor things. Now, the next thing we need to look at is gross and fine. Gross motor skills, fine motor skills. Throwing does come under the category of gross motor skills, where we're going to use big things such as muscles to allow ourselves to throw an object. Great. Now, when we are doing video analysis on things such as a gross motor skill, that is easy. We can do that, not a problem. Tick. We'll hit a ceiling. We'll hit the point we can't find that development no more. Why? Because we're then using a fine motor skill. A fine motor skill is more for precision. Now, a fine motor skill needs instant reaction and instant feedback and instant correction. Now, let's just take, for example, I was going to video myself throwing a dart. So I'm videoing myself throw. I'm looking for those fine motor skills. I video. I then sit down here and I put it on my computer and I analyze and I look at it and I go, right, okay, what do we need to do? And I can see the differences. I can see the changes. Right, I need to do this, I need to do that. I then go to the Oki. Now, from the moment I last did that skill to the moment I go back to the Oki, we are talking a minimum 5-minute gap between when I last applied the skill to when I'm now trying to change the skill. That is far too long, to the point where I've had all these other things going on. I've been thinking of other things. I've been concentrating on other things. Distraction has come into play to the point I am no longer able to relate those different movements. So feel versus real becomes back into play again. So I'm back at the Oki. I'm trying to fix something. Am I fixing it? I don't know until I look at the video and I review it once again. Then I review it. Have I done it? Have I not? That there is the cycle and the issue of which you'll find yourself in this. So absolutely, when you first start playing, your gross motor skills, you can see those easy, you can make those changes, but your precise ones, your fine motor skills, that is where self-coaching and self-development sort of hits that plateau and you find yourself hitting that ceiling. The other danger of this is not knowing where the fix comes from. A lot of us, and I can see it out there, I can see you all on Facebook groups, I can see a lot of sort of analysing. we can see what the problem is. Absolutely, it's very easy to analyse a darts throw and see where the problem is. A lot of times you can look and go, that's a problem because of this, that's a problem because of that, which is where this app that's going around at the moment becomes really interesting. You know, the one which tracks the throw and you see all the lines and things, because there are actually quite a lot of parts of that app that are really, really good. But on the same aspect, on the flip side of this, it's also the same as my car breaking down, me lifting the bonnet, me putting my head under and going, I ain't got a clue, it's broken. It's exactly the same thing. It can highlight a couple of things. It can highlight some inconsistencies. There are bits that are good about it. There's bits that are bad. That'll probably be another video future down the line. However, how do you fix that? Now, a lot of the time we can talk about how to fix things and we'll just, oh, there's no extension. Right, okay, well now you've got the extension, but now you're putting pressure on the shoulder, so now you're going to get an overuse injury. There could be lots of different things that go on, and you've got to reel it back and work back through the body in order to find where the issue is. You fix the back problem rather than what we see as the glaring obvious sometimes, and then that fixes the glaring obvious. So absolutely, the understanding of the deeper meaning. Now, the real big thing for me, and this may be your eye-opening moment, because we've been talking now for about 6 minutes about working on recalled information, working backwards and trying to remember what we did before, trying to remember all those different points and put it into play in a way that we're going to improve our performance with tiny, fine motor skills. Now, think about a fine motor skill compared to gross motor skills and all those things that are going on at the moment. How many muscles are in play? How many joints are in play? Just in the arm, we've got condyloid, hinge, ball and socket. 3 joints just in the movement of the arm. Then all the muscles. Then the fingers, the grip, the release, the timing. Think of all the things that are going on in the throw, all the things that are going on in the brain at the same time to make that smooth, to make that clean, to make that release. And the best way I can example this to you is, who can remember that number I put up at the start? Because I've been talking for roughly about the same amount of time it would take you to analyse your throw and go back to the oche. Who can remember that actual number, which isn't that many things going on in the brain to remember one number, compared to standing in a static position and applying the dart with force? For those of you who are a bit unfamiliar or think they've got it close, there's the number again, 342000891. So, very good. If you got that, spot on. If you didn't, hopefully that's just opened your eyes into why this method doesn't work. And also, you may have noticed, or you may not have noticed, that it's now red. And last time I did it, it was in a black background. If these are things you didn't notice, you have just had your eyes open to why you can't self-coach and why you can't self-analyse if you're going to look for that fine motor skill performance. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Maybe it's unlocked a few thoughts for you. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV.